Hello, hello, welcome everyone. If I can find my buttons, cool. Welcome to our RCC broadcast today. Substitute teacher is here since both Richard and Margaret were out. So I'm Miles from up in Portland, Oregon, just kind of filling in to get things started. Just the kind of standard housekeeping things today. We are fmtraining.tv. We do all sorts of training on the Claris FileMaker platform. And this is our free daily broadcast, so from 1 to 2 p.m. Today we have Christian Schmidt from Monkeybread looking into JavaScript library. And then our schedules here on FM Training TV, the live tab. We have Nick Hunter back tomorrow doing 3 days. And then we will have Jacob on Friday doing some open Q&A on server. So great stuff coming up. Also on here, we have our different things you can purchase, whether that's our training bundles, our video players, and then we got our manual on here as well. But I know we all want to jump into this, so I'm not going to take up much more time. So Christian, I'll kind of hand it over to you. And yeah, what are we talking about today?
So today, the idea is to use a JavaScript library in FileMaker. Sometimes you have some JavaScript code you like to use. And for the example today, we have a little library to calculation of when sun rises and sunsets. So let me share my screen. Here you see a website from GitHub. Let me paste that in the chat. So this is a library called SunCalc, and it's a JavaScript library for calculating sun position, sunlight phases, and yeah, like sunrise, sunset, moon position. And this is just the example I use. This similar libraries may be used in FileMaker. And the key thing we want to do is we want to use them in FileMaker without a web viewer. So we use the MBS plugin with its built-in JavaScript engine to use this JavaScript code and do some calculations, like here to get the times. Now let's take a look. So there is a JavaScript file here, suncalc.js, and this is the JavaScript for this library. It's all one JavaScript file. The benefit here is by using the JavaScript file is we don't need to have to translate all these calculations into FileMaker. We can just use the JavaScript. So scroll up. So this JavaScript file can be seen as raw here. There's a raw button, or we can just click here the copy button and copy the JavaScript into a new document. So we have the JavaScript here. Let me just raise the font size. Oh, really big. So now everyone can see. So this is JavaScript library. The main thing we have to look here is on the bottom. On the bottom, we have to make a little modification because here it uses window.suncalc. And normally, if you run JavaScript in a web viewer, there is a window object. But we are running JavaScript without a web viewer. So we have no window object to assign. But the JavaScript engine has a little variable for globals. So our globals are stored in global this. That's just a little thing you need to know, and we can remove all this here because we just need here the initialization with global this.suncalc is suncalc, and then we have everything ready in this JavaScript code. So I got my JavaScript code. Now let's go to FileMaker. Oh, no, we create a new one here. Oops. JavaScript. So in the JavaScript thing, we need some field for JavaScript. Let's create a global field where we put our JavaScript code. Global field for the JavaScript code. Let's make a field for the JavaScript code to run. So let's say we have input for calculation and output for the result. This way I can put some JavaScript in the input field and see the result in the output field. So I copy my JavaScript code and put it in the global field, paste. And now actually I can just remove the field, throw it away, or we don't need it anymore. It's just a storage for the JavaScript code. Let's write a script. Let me make this field a little bit bigger. So script, let's say the first script would be to initialize. JavaScript initialize. So set variable, and now we need a function to initialize our JavaScript. So let's take a look on our documentation. We have here JavaScript functions, and there is a js.new function where we can create a new JavaScript environment. And so I just see a line here. Let's say we call it $.js, a global variable, so we can use it later. js.new, and this creates a JavaScript environment. Of course, we can do some error checking later, but let's say we just want to, next step we call the evaluate function to run the library. And the library is just a little piece of JavaScript code. So we just run the content of our field with all this library code, and this will evaluate and maybe give us an error, but if everything works, it should not give an error. So let's say if MBS is error, then show custom dialog. So failed to JavaScript, whatever. If you have a typo in the JavaScript code or still the window is there, it may show up as having an unknown identifier. So here we say JavaScript initialized. So let's run it. Oh, it worked. And so it works. So we have a data viewer with, yes, there is a number, 83,000. So the plugin uses various numbers, and the first digit normally can tell you what type of variable you have here, what type of object. So 83 is for JavaScript environments. Next thing is we want to evaluate something. So let's just write some code to evaluate, JavaScript. So so our result is, oh good, specify dialog MBS JS dot, what was it, evaluate, there it is, $.js. And the JavaScript in this case is from input. And the result goes to output. Oh, we have two evaluate functions here. So in this case, evaluate, we have one toString, because the JavaScript may return something. It could be a date object, some JavaScript object, generic one. It could be an array, whatever. And toString just calls the toString method. So any object is serialized to its string representation. So this shows nicely in a text field. It's difficult to think about what do I do, when do I read the chat. Dollar result, auto-completed helped. So I should have a button here. Let's make a button, perform script, evaluate, close, exit, save, run, undefined. So empty text gives undefined. 1 + 2 gives 3. Okay, so we have a little script here to run some JavaScript. Let's go back to the website and see the examples they had there. So Sunday, get time, new date, whatever. Just copy, paste. I'm not sure if you see that. Run it, and we got back an object. We get back an object. Why do we get back an object? Okay, it returns some kind of object. JavaScript serialize to JSON. So our object, the toString doesn't help. So let's see. We need something like, here, JSON, stringify. Let me do it. And we get back our object as JSON. As you see, the library is working. It calculates a lot of dates. So we have a solar noon, sunrise, sunrise and sunrise start. So it takes the sunrise from a specific location. So let's take whatever. What could we take? So you guys are companies in California. So let's say sunrise, San Jose also. Not Costa Rica, California. Or do you like have a different? So let's see, here's the website showing me whatever. Current time, yeah, 1 p.m. Yeah. So we have sunrise today and sunset today. And now let's make the difficult thing to get the. Oh, the sun is moving quite quickly. Yeah, you see it. So San Jose, California. Let's find the coordinates. So I usually go to the Wikipedia page, which shows coordinates here. Here we have them. The coordinates for San Jose. Let's take a look back on the getTimes function here. So it takes a date, a latitude, and a longitude. And here don't mix those two. And what is the next? It's a high. Okay. So latitude of San Jose is, why does it change? The font size. So we have coordinates here. Let's run it. So let's see. We get back sunset, sunrise, sunset. So 157. Next question is, what time zones do you have? So sunrise is 6:58, 57:36. That sounds correct. And now the time zone difference is probably 6 or 7 hours. So time zone, just say California. So UTC -7. So sunset start, dawn to so many times. So I hope we get the right values. It can be a little bit difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, 13 minus the 7, and then you get the 6 something, right?
Yeah, 13 now, 13 plus 7. Oh, I'm so confused always with time zones. Well, anyway, it's just an example on how to use a JavaScript library. And I may have some mistake or not. Maybe it's correct. So let's say you can take another function to just try some other things. What do they have? Moon times. Yeah, let's calculate the moon times. So I just put in get moon times and get back another timestamp here. Yeah, but we just initialized JavaScript, so I can what does show all new records. So I can just put any calculation here and run it, or I can put some text in here, and when I run it, I get back the text. So just it's plus in JavaScript. Yeah, it's plus. So, and this gives, by the way, a string object. So it should be have a length 10. Yeah. So not sure what I should show people on JavaScript. It's just to clean up. We could make a clean up function. Yeah. So clean up JavaScript. JavaScript. So we would say if $.js is not empty. So if, for example, length $.js bigger than 1, bigger than 0, then set variable MBS to use this to get the auto completion. And we have a release function here, and it takes a JavaScript number and then set variable so we can clear it because it's no longer a valid ID. So I can run this and, well, memory is now cleared, which is hard to prove because otherwise that there's nothing here. Okay, now it's gone. And if we would run this again, we would get here an error because our variable is empty. So yeah, the JavaScript functions from MBS work without a browser. We also have functions to work on a browser, but in general, those functions are good if you like to evaluate something outside the server and no, outside the web viewer. And this can be on FileMaker Pro or on FileMaker Server, and may even be on FileMaker iOS SDK-based apps on the iPhone.
Do get if you have the Discord chat, we got a question in there. It says yeah, I'll just read it for anyone that's not on Discord. jQuery is very popular JS library. Would MBS be useful to use jQuery to create some drag and drop interface functionality for FileMaker, or should we use a web viewer for that?
So if you want to see something visually on the screen, you have to have a web viewer. Whether you use the built-in web viewer from FileMaker or the MBS web viewer, doesn't matter. So if you look on the documentations here, we have our own function to create a web viewer, which I added some time ago to make our own web viewers, which are independent of what FileMaker does. So they stay, for example, visible if you switch between records. The MBS web viewer doesn't reload. But if you want to see anything graphically, you need a graphic engine, and that's built into the web browser. Let's maybe try another function here, or we did get moon times already. So let's say I want again the sun time, but instead of the JSON from all of it, I just take on the result. Let's go up with it. Yeah, I like to know the sunrise. So I can just query from the object something. Oh, yeah, we have to initialize JavaScript again. So now we can run it. So let's see. Let's first run it again. Function is get times. So and now it gives back an object, and on this object I can access our properties, or the object has all these properties, and we just ask it for, so we get a sunrise for the coordinates. Oh, it's with plus. That's interesting. It got converted to my time zone. So your sunrise is when it's close to 4 o'clock for me. And then plus 7 hours, minus 7 hours. I say time zones are so difficult. So you're 9 hours away. So 16 minus 9 is
That's the
9 o'clock. That's not working. Oh, yeah.
yeah. If it's 16 minus 9, it's 7. Which if it's just before that, 6 to 7, somewhere in there.
I just feel I feel, did I get this wrong? Oh, if I swap those coordinates, I would get the wrong time. Let's take a look where I am. So let's just take a different one here, and let's say I take here something from Germany. Let's say here Cologne. So our time zone today would be time-wise would be 7:24. So coordinates around here. We are about 50 on north, and I think somewhere like 7. So, and yeah, this is a match, as you see, 7:25. This seems to work. What was it? String Gify. So for sunset start would be here 7 o'clock in time zone in UTC, which 2 hours later would be ours. So that's more easy if it's just 2 hours away from UTC. The location here is not precisely Cologne. This is just, I know I'm living close to the 50s because we can go to a place where they put in a bank to sit on with a nice view, and it's labeled the 50s degree. Okay, and 7 is somewhere here through Germany. Oh, let me see. I could make this calculation a little bit. I could allow you to enter the city name, and we just look up it. Don't we have something like here co-location? Where we can find the coordinates for what the user. Geocode. There it is. So I would like to geocode an address, unquery, and wait, like this here. Basically, I need this here. Let's make a little script, or let's like an input field, city, and the JSON we get. Puts it on the bottom of the layout. Let's move it up. Here on the side, make a script, look up location, set field, So because I can copy this just as a, no, oh, wrong phone, JSON. So we got this nice calculation here. So address is now a city field. Geocode address, the address. We check if it's an error. If it's no error, we query the JSON and close it. Okay. So let's just run this and put here a city like, let's see what Cologne is. Cologne, Germany. Let's run it. And we got a long JSON. Just copy this here in a new document. So you see there is a coordinate. So it's 6.9, the region here, 6.95 and 50.93. We can query this location for our query here. So let's say here query times for location. So the first thing would be I need from this JSON here the location and the longitude. So when I try to get this, I usually go to the data viewer and will just play with the JSON functions. JSON, let's take here from FileMaker those. This was a location. And you see live here, you can type here, and when it's correct, it shows you the information. Latitude. So this is a calculation for the latitude. I copy it, go back to the script, and add a variable. Put in my calculation. We name the variable latitude. I duplicate this. Longitude is correct. Longitude, yeah. So let's see. We built a JavaScript line like this. Set variable JavaScript specify. So this is my code. We want to put here the first latitude. This is the order of things, longitude. So, but the next thing I see, we'll see. So this is a JavaScript. Now let's copy the, put it in the field so we see it. Always good to put intermediate stuff in a field. And then let me just copy here the rest of the script to run it. So when I run it, I see an error here. Because I use a FileMaker in German, the JSON function will give me the number with comma, which is a little bit incorrect for using it in JavaScript. So what do? We could just do a substitute here. Substitute of $long, search for comma, replace with dot. Latitude, copy. Let's run it again. So now we have the dot there. Get back the times. I hope they're still correct. 28. What was the time? 7:24. Sunset start. 5:28. Sunrise end.
Yes, 7 is the sun.
2 hours, yeah, 2 hours left. And sunset. So 2 hours later, yeah. Should be correct. So, but maybe we use something else. We can pass variables to JavaScript. So I don't need to do this and put it in the, let's copy the script and check our JavaScript functions. So JavaScript functions, we have here set global property with value. So we can just pass in a number and it's set as a global variable in JavaScript. So let's copy this. So I want to pass $.js. My variable in FileMaker is, for example, latitude. So I put it here, and now it's also a variable in FileMaker. But to distinguish it, let's say we put it in J in front, say J latitude. So I do the same for the longitude. Long, like here, J longitude. So now my JavaScript, so I get the location, I pass it to JavaScript, I run the calculation code, and now in the calculation code, I don't need to put in any text, which also would maybe allow someone to hack some text in there. JavaScript is case sensitive, so be sure you don't incorrectly type a variable. Let's run it again. Oh, yeah, dollar. So no dollar in JavaScript. And we get again some time, and it's still the same time. So, oh, the time is moving, by the way. We use new date here all the time. So actually our results change whenever we query it. 6. At least it should. It may take a few seconds to make a difference. Or I could just see how much the time changes. So let's make a show all, make a new record, mutate. So yeah, the seconds are moving. So when we query, sunset, I'm not sure how exact this calculation is. Yeah, maybe as time changes, the result may change.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm gonna use some of the lat long you had in there. I'm just trying to think of a place I'd use the sunrise type of thing.
It's just an example for JavaScript library. We also I included this example with the plugins. So if you download the plugins and you look here on examples and on JavaScript, we have here the SunCalc example, and there's also here the phone number example. So here is a big JavaScript library for normalizing phone numbers. It's quite long, with a lot of code. And you can just run some JavaScript to format you a phone number in whatever local you need.
Nice.
So let's just change this. So this is, let's say 80. I like to get to big font. Yeah. So, and here's the result. So let's say the user doesn't type the prefix, and we just run the script. We also get the prefix added. So this is just a library which may tell what type of phone number is. Like here, +4917, that's +49175, as always a mobile phone number, because several prefixes are in Germany reserved for mobile phones, while something like here 261 would be a landline, because that's the prefix for some city, Cologne or something. Yeah. But if you have such a library, you can just use the calls as if that would be a custom function. So we have here something like number type. Here again, validation error. So it can validate a number and tell you that this number is far too long for an US number, or whether this is a valid number. So some countries define prefixes for different parts of the country. So this prefix can be checked, and if it's whether it's in the list of allowed prefixes, and then you can check if there's any special number. And here you see that's a German mobile phone number. Formatted is E164 standard. There's an international view. This is as you would show it to a human with spaces. This is how it would look locally in the country, the national number with no country prefix. This would be the way you would display it as a link if you want to make a clickable link in your interface. And if you use the show URL in FileMaker, you can actually have it do a phone call. So yeah, URL, where is it? Open URL. So, and you could say, put in such a phone number there, and then you could run the script, and something would happen. Oh yeah, it's it right away tried to call it. Yeah.
Doing prank call.
So
stream. Nice.
Yeah, this was just phone number formatting, and so here it shows you various. You can query example phone numbers. Here in Germany, we have 800 for free and 900 for paid, and 180 is also paid LAN, and 700 is for this person-specific calls, and here we can create for the US. For the US, the different variants are the same. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is just a phone number, and I wanted to show you how to use a JavaScript library. If your JavaScript library references anything from a browser like document dot or window dot, you will have to remove that.
Can you say that last part again?
If your JavaScript library references things in the browser, like the window object or the document object here, window dot title, also document dot whatever, get element. So this wouldn't work because we don't have a window object and we don't have a document object. Any question related to MBS plugin and or JavaScript?
Yeah, I mean, we did have a comment earlier I saw about someone was having web viewer issues, so they like that you referenced how you can build your own with your MBS one.
Yeah, so the MBS web viewer is a nice thing. Examples, web viewer. There's a custom web viewer here. So here I can create a web viewer. And now I have the web viewer, and I can make a new record. You see, I can make new records, and the web viewer stays there. It doesn't move. It doesn't get reloaded. Yeah, some people like it. And the image. So we can ask the plugin to make a picture from the website content, and should appear soon here.
There's two questions just came in about web viewer. One was if the FileMaker 19 functions work in the custom MBS web viewer yet.
You can make them work, I think. So what FileMaker uses is a script message handler. We can also do that in the plugin. So you can tell the plugin to create a script message handler, which then triggers which can then trigger a function in FileMaker. So you see here, evaluate, we allow you to trigger. And what FileMaker has is they install a global JavaScript function, which basically also triggers here with post message something. And I think we have that somewhere, not here. So technically you can see how they do it. We just create maybe test 2, no 3, make a new file. I need so let's see. I need a text maybe where I can put stuff, and I need a web viewer. So let's make a web viewer here. About blank, it has an empty website. Allow interaction is on. Allow JavaScript here to, we set the checkbox for JavaScript and save it. Now, what was the call to run JavaScript? Let's see. So we have FileMaker perform script. So we want to get this FileMaker thing back. Data viewer. Let's see. What do we see? MBS web view get HTML text from our web viewer. Oh, it's empty. Yeah. So let's say evaluate web unsupported type. Okay. What was it? Perform script. And our unsupported type. I need this JSON stringify. Was it that? How did I see it last time? Or maybe I turn on the debug tools. Let's go back to here. Set pref. So developer extras. Let's turn on the developer extra for this web viewer. Maybe we should load something in the web viewer. Let's put in a new URL. Maybe about blank isn't enough. HTTP MBS. Let's put our documentation in there. Now I enable the thing here, and there I can see it now, finally. So I just hope that my function would return us the text of the script. So this is a function perform script, and structure. Where do I see the okay? There you see the function source code. Here it is. So this is how the perform script with option function is written. This is the JavaScript code added by FileMaker into your web page. So it checks if we are on Mac or on Windows, Edge, or on the Chromium thing. This is the newer one. This is the older one. And even as FileMaker 19 doesn't have Internet Explorer anymore, the JavaScript code is still there. So we have the new Edge, and basically they do the same. So I could just add this function here with the name perform script with options into the MBS web viewer, and then also trigger the message handler here to run a script with MBS plugins. So if you need help for this, I may be able to make an example. But otherwise, have fun.
Yeah, definitely go go download, play around, and then even check out the sample files too. Okay. Well, I think that's kind of what we have. Yeah, like Christian said, it's one of those things, you know, little demo of how it is, but then mostly go get it, poke around, find what you need. And yeah, so much documentation there, so good chance you could find what you look for.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for coming, and thanks Miles for doing the stream here.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. And yeah, we'll be back on tomorrow with Nick, who's continuing his UI UX for advanced developers. And yeah, we'll see you then.
Okay, goodbye.
Got a report of an individual up here who may be a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Look at the back of that car right there. Looks like the FileMaker license has expired. Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!